everybody galoost, or hello and welcome to Two Mats Stuck in Conversation. This is episode X, Tafelberg. This is my lovely co-host, what am I saying?
Guest? Yeah, I'm a co-host, mate. Hi, I'm Matthew Gallant, and you tell them who you are.
My name is Matthew Hector. Obviously this is my show, because I'm the star. Kidding.
Wow.
We are Two Mats, stuck in quarantine, South Africa, and that's why we started this podcast. This is me face,
This is my face.
and the reason why we decided to do this is because this is the 10th episode, and we wanted to make it kind of special, extend to a broader audience. So if you're watching this, you're probably watching it on YouTube, or maybe you're catching a snippet somewhere else. If you're listening to this, go and check out the video. Yeah, and today we've got a packed episode. We actually had to remove a lot of the content to make it fit. Anyway,
That's the first time for us, because
yeah.
we usually have way too little content and we just drag it out using the
And
powers of
I just wanted to
Kakra.
point out my microphone, sponsored by Apple. It's a bubblegum container, it's written here, Two Matt Stuck in Conversation, sophisticated iMic.
Oh wow.
Yes.
My miking situation, I've like there's a desk on which like that this camera is on, and underneath that I've taped the mic to the desk, so you can't see it in frame, but it looks ratchet. It looks
This is
horrible.
in no way a professional production. We have
No.
no professional equipment. This is shot on iPhone, which
Yeah.
is a whole category of media on all platforms shot on iPhone. We are wearing, as you can see, exactly what we wear every time you look at our logo.
So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and you want to see what we actually look like and not just animated, go watch the YouTube video so you can
Go to
see me
YouTube.
wearing a blue hoodie and Hector wearing red and white.
Two Mats Stuck in Conversation on YouTube. I can't.
Yes, and on our Instagram, it's at 2mats, stuck in conversation.
Indeed. Our last podcast is on Rejection 101. That's episode 9. And we've got some great feedback. Gallant's friends are loving it, I see.
Yeah, my one friend went on a binge where she just listened to all of it in one day while working.
Honestly, if
Pretty
you haven't
insane.
been watching, or maybe you catching this on YouTube for the first time and you want to go listen to our previous episodes, it is on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you feel like it's too much to listen to, don't. Because literally every time you sit down at your desk and you need to work, just go through them one by one. It's the best thing to listen to when you're working. I'm not just talking about our podcast, podcasts in general.
Or when you're washing up or
Yeah.
doing any sort of menial labor.
Mundane tasks.
Yeah.
I had someone ask us if we get paid to do this, but we can talk about that later because we're actually going to talk
Okay.
about the podcast process. We're going to jump into that a bit later. In today's episode, we've got what we are calling an extravaganza.
Massive extravaganza.
But anyway, it is time for the lockdown recap. 1, 2, 3. Dun dun!
Wow,
This-
we actually finally got it right. It took us 10 whole episodes to finally get it right.
It's 1,000 times cringier on video. By the way, did you
Yes.
see that cringy ass intro in the beginning? Did you see it? I apologize.
I tried to make something.
Yeah, in South Africa, we sit on 27,403 cases, 14,370 recovered, and a whole 577 deaths. Kalan, what about, you said active case numbers sit at about what, more or less?
Doing the math, it's just over 13,000 active cases.
And today is the 29th of May. And we're recording just before 9 as usual.
9 p.m. That is.
Yeah, and if you're wondering what this is, maybe you're watching this on YouTube, you don't know what this is. We grade A kakprat. That's kakprat shit talk. We talk a lot of shit, and that's what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
Why we share our coronavirus numbers is to document this for future listeners, like a time capsule. But moving on, Grant, what are you listening to these days?
Um, I'm not listening to much. I haven't been listening to a lot of music. I've been listening to a lot of lo-fi while I study, but that's about it. And you?
The usual. I've actually just been hitting shuffle and letting the music app decide what I listen to. And I normally
Yeah.
don't like doing that because I find myself just clicking next repeatedly because I don't like the songs. But it's been
Mm.
on the same sort of shuffle session, if you will, for the past few
Yeah.
days. It's just been getting it right. I'm so shocked. I think the algorithm is finally working.
Wow. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you,
Movies and
dude.
series.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I've been watching the TV shows. I've been watching a lot of TV. I watched two TV shows in the past week: Run and Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Have you heard of Run? First of
I have not. Tell me, what is it
all,
about?
okay, it's on Showmax right now, and it's an HBO show. And the premise is there are these two like ex college lovers, right? They dated in college, and they have this rule that if either of them text the other one run, right, like RUN on iMessage, and the other person responds with run, they will meet each other no matter where they are at Grand Central Station in New York, and then they get train together across the country, and it does like that trip's usually about a week long, and by the end of the week they will decide whether or not they want to stay together. And so this show takes place like 13 years after they made that like sort of deal, and one of them texted run, and now they're on this train. But it follows like the guy is like this motivational talker, and his life is currently falling apart, and the girl has a family and she's married, has two kids, and we just watch what happens. It's a lot of drama.
Is it a series?
It's a series. It's 7 episodes, I think, and it's 30-minute episodes. So it's
And
like
where
very
can I watch this?
Showmax.
That's
Showmax.
brilliant.
It's
Showmax is one of the South African streaming services.
yeah. It's a weird premise, and it's interesting. It's definitely something unique. And then
I'm interested.
for all the Star Wars fans out there, there's this show tier list called Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Okay, it's the first season happened in 2008. I've been watching this show since I was 7 years old. Okay, and they finally finished the show like this year. They finished the last season, and it was the greatest TV I've seen in like the last 5 years. It was amazing. It was mind-blowingly brilliant. Everyone needs to watch it. Star Wars fans, if you love the prequels, if you hate them, watch Clone Wars. It's brilliant. And TVs, if you like animation, this show has some of the best lighting you'll ever see in an animated TV show.
That's a bold
Like,
statement.
no, it's brilliant. It's basically like 3D animation, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm just like happy talking about it because I watched it at night before I went to go to bed. Then fell asleep with a smile on my face. Woke up with a smile on my face because I finished the show. It was amazing. What are you watching?
Congratulations! I'm so happy for your child.
I'm happy
Um,
too.
I just finished Blood and Water. It's a South African show on Netflix. You can catch it wherever you are in the world. I heard it was trending in the US and in the UK. Oh, so you
Mm,
said as well. And I want to talk a bit about it. I'll try not to reveal anything, but basically, there's the underlying premise. It's about human trafficking, right? Which is a prevalent issue in South Africa, which is why it's so relevant, right? And I've read some of what the critics have to say, and it's got a lot of cliches, like your typical teenage drama slash action cliches. But
yeah.
it's because of the way that the story unfolds, especially in a modern South African setting, that it's actually very gripping and it's very interesting and it's just very well done.
Mm.
Um, I've watched a lot of
Shot
South
in
African,
UCT. At
yeah,
UCT, right?
at UCT. Our campus, my campus, to be
Your
specific.
campus. Yeah.
Gallant's at Med campus, um,
Yeah.
which is basically he's at a hospital nearby. Um, but I've watched a lot of South African TV, and this is by far some of the greatest I've watched. You really must go watch it if you haven't watched it yet. Other than that, I have been watching a lot of YouTube. I guess that doesn't really count.
Nah,
Um, but
get out of
anyway,
here.
let's move on into boring rain as we talk about Grant's interesting learnings. I actually find it interesting, uh, just to be
Okay.
honest.
This week I don't actually have an interesting learning from my medical studies, but I have a story. So I went running in the week, and there's a part of my run where I ran on like a large piece of grass for about 700 meters, right? And so I'm running, and I see this guy with two massive dogs. But like he's not like when usually people have big dogs, they've got like muscle and whatnot, so they can like really hold onto their dogs. If they try to chase other people. But this guy's got like no muscle on him at all. And so his one dog is trying to attack a runner who's in front of him, and he's trying with like all the force in his body to hold back and hold on to this dog as the dog is like pulling him forward. In any case, these dogs are out for some flesh, some human flesh. They want some calls this morning. And I have to now run past these dogs. And one of the dogs that I mean trying, it's like trying their best to like come at me. And so I have to make
Come
a
at me,
choice because
bro.
there's come at me, bro. And I have to make a choice because there's no more space. I can't stay on the pathway. If I stay on the pathway, I get bitten by a dog. Or I go to my immediate left, which is the streets and there's oncoming traffic, and I have to make this massive choice of, okay, if I stay running on this pathway, 10 out of 10, I'm going to get bitten by the dog. If I going onto my left, chance I might get knocked by a car. So what do you think I chose?
Car.
Yeah, I went for car, and I without thinking, just straight up ducked into oncoming traffic. Like I was on the roads. There was no
It's a
bicycle lane. I
story
was on the roads,
about
and
the streets
but
and the dog. This is not a love story.
this is the story about the streets and the dog. And luckily, by the grace of God, there was no oncoming cars, and all the robots were right in front of me, so I could run past the guy and a little bit more uninterrupted. Truly a lucky streak, honestly. So lucky I'm alive to tell the story today.
Were the dogs on a leash?
They were on a leash, but like this guy was barely holding on. It was
So the
like
dogs were taking him for a walk.
the dogs were taking him for a walk basically. Like he was being dragged forward. Honestly, I feel like
I'm a bit
he knew he had to take a
disappointed.
run for his health, and so he let the dogs walk him.
I'm a
You
bit
know,
disappointed because we've spent the last few years being pros at street crossing, and you almost got hit by a car.
I am a pro
What do you have
street
to say
crossing,
for
but like
yourself?
that's crossing the street. This is running in the street. There's a difference.
Potato, potato. Um, Now, I would, speaking of physical activity, Gallant wants me to cycle or run 5 kilometers just so that he can wave at me from across the street. Can we just
Hector's
talk
being
about that?
dramatic, people. He's being very dramatic about everything. He has to cycle a full 3Ks. I'm going to run 6Ks. And then eventually we'll meet up. And I will wave to him. And it'll be fine. You know? He's so dramatic.
The thing
Cycling is
is,
easier. It's
I haven't cycled in years. I haven't ran in months. Not months. Yeah, almost years actually as well. And you want me to just jump on it and do 5 kilometers?
no, I
Um,
want you to do two.
I've done 5 kilometers on foot walking, and I can do that in half an hour. Um,
I said do what you need to do. I said find a way, get there, and then I'll wave at you.
wow, a whole wave from across the
Yeah.
street.
A whole way,
from
bro. I'm
someone
just
I've
like be like,
seen for 10 years
wave.
of my life.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like running and be like, hi, and then
I'm
carry
just
on
gonna
running.
stop.
No, because we're on the time trial,
What kind of bullshit?
dude. You can't. You're gonna ruin my pace and my time.
Anyway, let's not get
Okay.
bogged down.
I've been busy all week, so what? And I haven't been looking at tech. Do you have any tech updates for us?
I've got quite a tech update for you. So,
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of Android phones, as many people who know me know.
Yeah,
But
we
every
all
now
know
and
you
then,
hate them.
no, I don't hate them. I hate Android OS. I think it's too cluttered and there's too much customization and it's too open. I have no issues with the phones that run them, right? But that being said, every now and again, there's an Android phone that comes out that makes me want to have it as a second phone, just so that I can have it. But I don't actually want to make it my main phone.
Of
Nobody can
course.
do that other than Apple. And this phone is from Sony, which means if we do get it, it'll probably be imported by some strange company because I believe Sony's left the country last time I checked.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so. Yeah.
it's called the Xperia 1 Mark II.
Okay.
Strange name. The last time I was this excited for an Android phone, it was the BlackBerry Priv, which was a slide-up phone. I thought it was so
Oh,
bloody
I remember
cool.
that. I
I
I
loved that
didn't.
phone.
I didn't think it was that cool. I had a Sony Xperia. I had a Z3 compact like
That was a great
5 years
phone.
ago. That was a good phone. I had a great camera at the time. Like it was a great camera in a very cheap phone, and it was like one of the last like 4.5-inch phones that were like super powerful. Besides, obviously, like the iPhone 6 or 6s at
Yeah,
the
and
time.
it looked really cool too.
Yeah.
Sony, they
So
do
it's,
make good phones.
yeah, they make pretty quality phones, and it's one of the first phones to have 4K video, and one of the first like 4.5-inch phones to have 4K video, which was like a big thing at the time. Now, like every phone has 4K video.
So I've got a few notes on the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. I want to tell you why
Okay.
it's so cool and why it's so special and why it's getting a bit of hype in the tech world, right?
Okay.
It's not about power or graphics. That goes to iPhone. iPhones have been the most powerful phones for like the last 4 years.
Yeah,
Um,
Snapdragon's been lacking, eh?
yeah, and it does have a Snapdragon chip in it. If you don't know, that's basically the chip that almost every Android phone has. It's the 865 if you're interested. And it's not about the screen or the battery life either.
Okay.
It does have a really cool screen. It's 4K and it's very dense with
Ooh.
pixels. And it's got Sony's been doing this thing for the past few years where they make 21 by 9 screens. It's like cinema size,
Yeah.
and this phone has that as well.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not sure how I feel about that.
it's great for watching native films.
Yeah, it's great for watching content, but like I don't watch a lot of movies on my phone, and it's
I
a
know a lot of
very
people who
tools.
do rely on their phones for movies, and this would definitely be the phone for you if that's what you do with your phone. I don't watch movies on my phone personally,
Okay.
so that doesn't
Okay,
appeal
get to
to
the
me.
point. What's so amazing about this phone?
So this phone was designed, co-developed by the engineers behind the latest Alpha 9 series cameras. So Sony makes a series of cameras called the Alpha cameras, and it's mirrorless DSLR cameras, and they are renowned for industry-leading autofocus technology. Basically, with a Sony camera, you can take a video and you won't be able to tell that it's focusing, and that's something you want when you are shooting video. It's also something that
Yeah.
iPhones are great at, which and a lot of Android phones really suck at it. But this phone's going to be brilliant when it comes to this. And people love Sony cameras, right? Because of their
Yeah, they're some of the
autofocus
best.
abilities. Right. So this camera on the Sony, it's got three lenses. It's got RAW support. It's got the exact same or very closely matched the iPhone autofocus technology which they use in the cameras, and it's got LiDAR and the whole They've got a new camera app which basically is the Alpha cameras, but they made it for the phone. So if when you
Yeah.
buy this phone, you've basically got a Sony Alpha camera built into your phone, which is really
That's
cool.
pretty cool. That's impressive. What's the screen size? What's the body like?
It's a I think it's a 6 or 6.5 inch display. It's true
Okay, so it's like a
4K.
bigger phone.
Yeah, it's got three cameras plus the LiDAR sensor as well. Um, and it's very, very clear display. It doesn't, I think it has this, oh no, it doesn't have those high refresh rates that modern phones have that people want
Oof.
nowadays.
I mean, if you had to take a 4K screen and a high refresh rate, that battery life would be
And
absolutely
it
terrible.
doesn't have a big battery. It's 4,000 milliamp hours, which is kind of average.
Oof. It's
But the
smaller
main
than what's my
focus of
iPhone
this
Pro.
camera is you've got your phone, your communication device, your cinema device, and it's apparently great for gaming as well. But you're carrying around the closest thing you can get to a Sony Alpha camera in your pocket, and that's bloody brilliant if you ask me, and that's why I want one. The question is, which I will answer for myself later, is it worth buying the phone or an Alpha camera? That's my question. Although the Alpha
I know.
cameras are quite expensive.
Yeah, the
Another thing I
mirrorless
want to talk
cameras are
about
really, really expensive.
Another thing I want to talk about is the iPhone 12. Even my father has seen the iPhone 12 leaks, which means you must have seen them somewhere if you're
Yeah,
listening or
Apple
watching
has
to
the
this.
worst kept secret when it comes to their new
I
phones.
don't think it's an accident, to be honest with you. That's my
No, I don't
theory.
think so either. It
I
builds
think it's the
hype.
greatest marketing it's unpaid marketing. They just give it to someone and everybody gets hyped about it. Apparently, it's only
Yeah.
coming out in November, and it normally comes out in September. But obviously tough times, to say the least.
Yeah.
But in about 22 days, plus minus, we're gonna have the Apple event, and I'm so excited for that because that means software updates for everyone.
Yeah, it's WWDC, the Worldwide Developer Conference. But this it's a remote one this time, so there's not going to be like a gathering, of course. It's going to be like a live stream online, and WWDC is when they release all the new like iPad OS, the new iPhone software, the new Mac software, new watch
The
software.
strangest
It's
thing
exciting.
The
It's
strangest thing about
exciting.
WWDC is that I think it's the only tech company broadcast that average people watch. Because I know so many people who don't care about technology, but they watch it just to see what their phones are gonna get.
Yeah, like you think I think anyone else's like product releases gets a million views on YouTube after the
Yeah,
fact.
yeah.
Like I don't know, we don't have the live stream numbers at all, but I mean the live streams usually like 50, 60,000 on like the 10 live streams that happen on YouTube. Apple doesn't live stream on YouTube, but like they get like a million, 2 million views on the 1 hour long product release videos. It's insane. I mean,
Yeah, it's
almost
such
any
a
other company you will watch like a news outlet's coverage of it to learn about the product.
yeah,
It's kind
it's
of
such a
crazy.
high demand to get into this event that they have to randomly pick people to for tickets. I mean, obviously this year they're not going to have people actually going to the event, and the actual ticket costs like a few $1,000s, and they can charge that, and people will pay that. It's ridiculous, but
Yeah.
honestly, I would pay that just to get there, just one event. That's
Hey,
my
if you're
goal.
lucky, you might like see Billie Eilish perform or something like that. They always get like
Yeah,
popular artists to come perform. So you not only do you get to see the newest tech, you get to have like a free concert, possibly,
yeah, and that's the other thing is
possibly.
immediately after the show, if they release any technology, you can go test it out before anybody else gets their hands on it.
Yeah, and sometimes months before it even gets released to consumers.
But
So
that's the longest tech segment we've ever had. Let's cut it right there. It's time for the uni update. One, two, three. Oof! Yeah,
Oof.
no, it's Hector Gay.
Yeah.
That was a better try than the past few episodes, but I'm
Okay.
disappointed
I don't think we
nonetheless.
said it in the beginning, but I am a med student. I study medicine. I'm a second year med student. Hector is a second year information systems student. And that's what we study. We both study at the University of Cape Town, the university on the mountain, or in my case, the university on the hill. Um,
And this classifies
it's
us to talk
it's
about things that have absolutely nothing to do uh, with those fields.
indeed. It's a bit tough times right now. Right now, because of coronavirus, we are studying online. Um, and as for how my week has gone, it's just been working on the weekend like usual. That's what Drake said. He says, working on the weekend like usual, and that's what I've been doing. Just working every single day. The work never stops, Stevens. It never
Honestly, I
stops.
think
Never.
you work too much. I gave the 24-hour day that we all have. Did you know that there are 24 hours in a day?
Dude, I make the days count. So
I gave the
my
24-hour
days,
day that we all have. I tried to break it up into typically what you would ideally spend it in. So I made a little pie chart for Gallant to see. You
mm,
sleep for about 8.5 hours max, right?
yeah,
Ideally. You also don't want to sleep less than 8 hours. This I read some theory once that you lose a day of your life expectancy if you sleep less than 7 hours or something like that. Something
okay,
strange. You spend about an hour and a half in the bathroom doing things, 2 hours eating, 2 hours working out, and I mean that in the sense of like the entire day when it's totted up at the end of the day.
yeah,
Um, that leaves you with about 10 hours, which has nothing to do with your health and wellness and your well-being. So you either spend that working or spending time to yourself, spending time with your family, or spending time with your friends. And you
yeah.
decide to use that entire 10 hours to work.
My degree is difficult. We have a lot of work to do.
My question to you is, Kalan, personal question. Side note, let's put the podcast aside for a second. When you work, are you happy?
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. Because then I suppose it's not that much your
I
work life
genuinely
and
enjoy my
your
work.
and that's great. Your work life and your entertainment almost meshes like that then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my day works out like I get the 8.5 hours of sleep. I get my 1 hour of working out. My eating is definitely not 2 hours. It's like max an hour. You steal time here and there, and then eventually you end up working 10, 11 hours a day. But that's chill. On the weekends, though, I do work a bit less. I work maybe like 5 hours a day to like calm things a bit down. But in the week, we go hard. We go hard in the week. How have you been doing, bud?
That's what
How's uni
is.
treating you?
Um well, over the past few weeks I've been dealing with a lot of mental breakdowns, not to put a bummer on the cast.
I'm sorry, man.
Um and I asked myself, you procrastinate so much and you spend so much time not working. Why? What is the reason for this? And I have the ability to not lie to myself. It's a real skill.
Mm,
Um and I realized that what I want is to actually work, and what I want is to get this degree done to my best ability. And I'm not actively deciding not to work. So, what is it that's causing me to not be able to focus? Because surely, if I really, really want to work, then I wouldn't have trouble getting my work done. And I
mm.
did a lot of research, and I'm pretty sure that I've got a form of ADHD. I haven't been to the doctor yet. Obviously, now is not the best time to figure this out and go see a doctor.
I mean, you
Unfortunately,
probably should though. Like the sooner you get checked out, the better your quality of life will be.
yeah. I might try and see someone online or something like that, but going to an actual doctor, in these times would be risky, to be honest. And I don't know if we've got the time. How long is this going so far? But I have some notes on ADHD, which is kind of cool. But what I want to say is I'll summarize it. So there's three different forms: is inattentiveness, and there's hyperactive or impulsiveness, and then there's a combination of the two. And you can have a varying. If it's a combination, you can like vary, and there's a mild to intense versions of the different types of ADHD. And I noticed that the symptoms for, I think I've got combined, whatever, the symptoms that you
Yeah.
that you need to match to quote unquote qualify for this qualify. But to be diagnosed with ADHD is I've had them all my life, and I just haven't noticed. And the fact that I've come this far without treatment boggles the mind, to be honest.
Well, trying like having this is the case, and you do have ADHD. That's quite a massive revelation. But hey, folks, this is Hector talking about medicine, my field of interest. Look. Like I said, we're not qualified to talk about anything, but here we are.
The thing about medicine is I know a lot about my body because I'm a hypochondriac.
Hey, I had to explain to Hector what his quads were the other day, and he on the podcast talking about how he knows his body. What? Like,
Okay,
I
but
think we should move
I'll
on.
end us off quickly.
Yeah.
That I've been managing my sleep using that Pomodoro timer, the tomato timer thing, where you
My
work for like
favorite.
5 minutes. No, you work for 25 minutes and you take a 5 minute break.
Yeah.
And then after a few sessions of that, you take like an hour break, whatever. It's good for staying productive. And I have a habit reminder because one of the things that I struggle with is I forget to do things that I do every single day, like take my medication. So I have an
Uh,
app that reminds me to do things like that. And I've got a screen time limiter so that I don't lose track of time. And I have activity analysis apps that tell me how much time I spend doing different things. And
there's
by
a
using
lot
all
of
of that,
apps.
I can function like a normal person.
I highly
Um,
recommend the Pomodoro clock to anyone that wants to use it because I
Literally
find it
anyone.
to be the greatest thing in the world. It helps me get through my 10 hours, 11 hours of studying and work every day. But we've got a correspondent on the line, Davis.
Oh, let me take the phone. Hold
Talk,
on.
yeah.
Where's the. Hello?
Hi.
Oh, Michael DeBroclio.
Hi,
This
yes,
is
it's
Two Broke
Michael
Men.
Brocklio. Hi.
I'll put it on
Hi.
speaker.
Boys, I've got a question for you. For you guys need like an economist section each week, right? Okay. This week I came up with a question. It is eating out versus eating at home. Is it worth the money, the cost, the quality, the nutrition? Is it great for the gains? Alright. I want you guys to answer this for us. Do you think we should be eating out or we should be eating at home? Alright. Just let me know. I love what you guys are doing. Love what you guys are doing. You guys are brilliant. Alright. Thank you. This is Michael DeBrocklio. Alright, signing out. Two Broke Matt. Bye.
It's a pity we couldn't get him on video.
Yeah.
That really is a pity. Gallant, I don't know. There's something wrong with your connection or something.
Now, dude, I need to like fill up my water bottle. I've been drinking water this entire
So buying food, takeout.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think he meant in terms of in general or with relation to our current situation?
I think he means both. Like,
Okay.
look, I haven't had takeout in 2 months. Like, this week will be 2 months since I last had any form of takeout. Right? Like, I had takeout the week before lockdown.
I had
And
Nando's
my
yesterday.
nutrition has never been better since I'm just eating at home and making my own food. There are days I crave a bit of, a little fried chip here or there or a burger. But, like, to be honest, I think this is the healthiest I've ever been in my life. So I don't think I'm going to
My
be eating out as
diet
much.
hasn't changed with or without takeout because I've always had like I try to minimalize the things that we shouldn't be eating a lot of. So whether I buy takeout or not, I minimize that
Mm.
uh those things. And I found that the period of time that I didn't have takeout, it didn't really make that much of a difference for me. I didn't feel any more energetic or healthier or generally better, but that's just because in general I don't let myself eat unhealthily, and I don't
Mm.
think that like McDonald's or KFC is as unhealthy as people make it out to be.
I mean, it is,
Um,
but like,
no, no, it's not. It's the chips, the fried chips, definitely, but the burgers are it's protein and it's not like the sauce maybe is unhealthy, but it's not an unhealthy meal. It's not as bad as eating like fried foods all the time because the
Yeah, yeah,
burger
yeah.
is not
It's
fried.
not as greasy as
Yeah,
everyone makes it out to be. I can get you on that. But I think if you want quality food, like quality restaurant food, or that's like super healthy, you're gonna pay. Like you're gonna pay a lot of
definitely.
money. And so I think when you're eating at home, it works out better in terms of money. And if we as students really want to save money and create wealth, perhaps eating out all the time is not the best choice. Get all your friends over and you can have a baking session, or get your friends over and you can cook supper together. It will work out cheaper that way, and you get
Yeah.
healthier food,
Like for the
and it's
same money
experience.
that it costs to like eat at the restaurants that we used to eat at when there wasn't lockdown, you can make the same meal for more people because there's a huge markup when you go to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
an Italian place or a gourmet burger place or whatever. Um, and there is definitely a benefit to it because you can just come from wherever you are, varsity or whatever, and you can just pop in, and it doesn't
Of
take that
course,
long,
there's
and you don't have to put
convenience
the effort in. The convenience, yes. Um, the convenience.
and the
However,
event of like eating out.
yes, the atmosphere.
The atmosphere, the idea. But like I know,
And
in
you don't have
this
to
time
clean
right
up
now, perhaps try and support um your local food places.
everything's your
Your local
local
everythings,
everything's.
your local everythings. If you can support them, um, people need the help. It's tough times for everyone, but I think just these 2 months of lockdown have showed me that I eat out a lot, but I can totally go without it now. Now that I think
Yeah,
about it.
100%. But you can't say that you haven't craved it.
No, I definitely have craved it, but I
Yeah,
think it's more craving the salt, man, and which isn't a good thing at all.
for sure. But tell me, if you crave salt, doesn't that mean you need salt? Because we usually
Um,
crave the things that we need, isn't it? Like I've read that if you crave chocolate, it's because you need more potassium or something like that.
I mean, yes and no, but like I was just in a really fatty, lethargic mood. And I didn't work out for 2 days,
Yeah.
and when I don't work out, like if I take more than a day's break, I just tend to like blow out and then
So the thing is, though, when
eat
you're
completely
at
raw.
campus, um, home cooked meals, it's a tricky thing, eh? Having a,
Yeah,
a takeout sesh maybe once or once a week or once every second week kind of makes sense because your parents work and you're at campus till about the same time sometimes. You can't always make a home cooked meal.
cook.
It's only
Yeah,
that we are at
of
home
course.
that it's possible to have that luxury. It is a luxury actually if you think about it. Because it's a lot of time and
Mm.
monitoring. Um, but
Shall we
you are
move to
100.
our
But let me just say,
main
you are
topic?
100% right that you can definitely live without it for a much longer period of time.
Mm.
Yeah. Moving on to the extravaganza.
We have a special intro, which you should probably queue up right now. So
Yes.
let's queue it up right now.
One, two, three, four.
Welcome to the show. We've made 10 episodes. Welcome to the show. Get ready to be blown away.
And we're back. What did you guys think of that? I hope you
Did you
enjoyed
cringe?
it.
I think you
We
cringed.
put a lot of effort into
We
it.
know you cringed. You
That was
cringed a
me.
lot.
Yeah, that was
Um,
me playing the guitar and singing. It was rough. I'm
today's
I'm gonna put
topic.
down audio engineer on my Instagram bio now. Musician.
SoundCloud rap. Never mind. Um,
SoundCloud. So many shots have been fired.
so
But
for
yes,
today's topic, we don't have one topic. We've got lots of random content, so sit down your ass and listen.
yeah.
100%. So Gallant, let's start off with me because it's all about me.
Yeah.
Um, so I've
Because
my
everything's about you.
correct my crush. I think has mentally friend zoned me on day one.
Oof.
But the
Oof.
thing is, what's confusing me is, um, he made it out to be that he was very interested. Because I actually stopped talking, and then he started texting me, and now I don't know. I think he friend zoned me though.
Yeah, that's rough, mate. Like, what do you expect from people right now? You can't even see them, you know?
Exactly. So my
Like,
love life is officially dead because of
your love
the
life's
lockdown.
on pause. If you had a love life prior to lockdown, you still have one. If you didn't, don't start one now.
What you mean to say is, if you had a love life before lockdown, you hope you still have one. Um. Also,
Oh, so,
I've been
yeah,
talking
it's a little
to
bit.
a med student, and as you know, that's the
Ah,
worst decision you could possibly make in your entire
dude,
life.
I am a med student, but even me, I'm rolling my eyes at this thought of you talking to a med student. I saw a post on Instagram, and it's like why you shouldn't date doctors, and it's like it was things like they won't have time for you. If you get jealous easily, then you're gonna get mad. All the attention they get, they won't answer your phone calls or texts.
What do you mean
Don't touch their
extra
phones. You know where
attention?
it's been. There's like you can't play sick to get attention. They're not gonna treat you unless you're dying. Like all these things as to why you shouldn't date a med student. And I mean that the post didn't work in my favor, obviously. But even I was like, you know what? There's a bit of truth to this. Like a lot of truth.
Yeah, it's a pity because I'll be honest with you, med students are sometimes the best people, in terms of their
I agree.
personalities.
Of course.
That being said, very problematic. Be prepared. And the thing is, med students dating med students, it's almost worse. So med
I don't
students are
know. I
destined
don't
for
know.
a
The
life
one
of
couple that
singlehood.
I know that's going
We've
strong
spoken about
are
them,
two med students.
yes. I swear to God, Dash! Anyway, got dogs over there.
Okay, med students dating med students in the same class gets touchy. That's when it
Gets
that's when it gets
touchy.
rough. Yeah, it gets rough. You know, you have dissections in the morning. Maybe you know the couple because they're a couple. They decide to be in the same dissection group. Now they have a fight. Now they show up dissections at 8 o'clock. You're gonna be around like a dog for 2.5 hours, or where two of your members. There's 6 members of the group, and two of them are mad at each other. You know how awkward that is for everyone involved. Like it's
This
not a
sounds
fun
like a
time.
personal story, like a you problem.
Oh no, this did not happen to me. Luckily, it happened to the people across from me. So I watched this unfold, and that felt worse.
Entertainment.
It was entertainment. You could just see they were
um,
so mad at each other,
so,
and you have
so,
scalpels in your hand, like sharp weapons. It's not a safe environment.
but you're also in a room full of potential doctors. So,
I don't trust my own people.
but you
This
surely
is
have a supervisor who is a
you have a
doctor,
supervisor, and I trust them.
right? Listen, um, so what you're saying is don't date your own faculty. Anyway, speaking of med school, let's talk about your cousin.
Oh yes, we're finally gonna talk about my cousin. Um, my cousin. So there's this girl who's in my class with me at med school. Met her through med school, and we were friends for like since I say about like day one, right? And at the beginning of this year, at the beginning of our second year, I went on a family gathering. Um, and at this family gathering, there was family of my uncles. They're not, you know, I don't know them at all, but they're my uncle's family through his wife, whatnot. And I was speaking to them, and they're like, "Oh, you have to know this person. They all study medicine at there." And I'm like, "Yes." And I'm like, "How do you know this person?" And then they're like, "Oh, we're family." And I'm like, "Sorry, say again. You are family with this person. Wait, that makes me family with this person." And long story short, I learned that I have a cousin. The official title is second cousins once removed, but I go to school with my cousin, and now we just call each other cuz. Like we've been reunited after like 19 years, and it's funny because we were friends for a whole year, and I had no idea we had this connection. Interesting thing though, if you ask two people which med students will work themselves to death, it's gonna be us two, and I think that's the family genetics, you know, coming to play.
Genetics.
the family. There's no there's no blood, but like
the
it's the
paper.
genetics.
It's the paper.
It's the paper, you know. But yeah, we're the two most likely to work ourselves to death, and I think that's it runs in the family clearly. So that's my cousin's story.
Please read the next line for me.
Hector wants to talk about
Exactly
how we're
as it
moving into the
is.
main topic. So
Please
we're
read
gonna
it.
talk about
Read
the
it.
whole point of this episode. Shh. The whole point of this episode is how we make the bread, the sauce, the gravy, whole. So gravy hole. So we're gonna talk about the podcast process, what it's been like to make this podcast, how we come up with topics, editing, the whole works. So I want to talk about the podcast process. I'll give you like a broad overview. We start off on Wednesdays and Thursdays saying like, okay, we need to record the podcast. We need to get this started. And so then we'll FaceTime each other, and then we'll have like a call for about an hour and just brainstorm ideas. Eventually we stick on one or two and we populate the usual schedule. And then we record on Fridays and edit on Saturdays and Sundays and then release. That's
the ideal schedule.
Yeah.
I've sometimes ended up editing on the Monday. Sometimes your uni work has to come first. But coming up with topics. Sometimes Gallant's got a topic that he really wants to speak about. Sometimes I've got a topic I really want to speak about. Sometimes we find a topic we really want to speak about together, and that's the best topics. Those are the best episodes, I think, personally.
Yeah.
We've become like
I don't know. The adult friendships topic was my idea, and that was pretty lit.
Sure.
I think that's episode 4 or something.
Sure.
That's a good episode. Go check it out.
Episode 8 is my favorite episode. Should you text your ex? That's my topic.
Didn't all your exes text you back?
Yes.
Don't brilliant.
Ever talk about texting your ex on a public platform.
They will all find you. Again.
So the process. So like the thing is, we had to discover ways to do this. We tried so many different like methods of making this happen, and we've sort of normalized it and made it our own. Right now I'm using literally every device I own to make this happen. And this beautiful microphone is why you get such clear quality. I'm on the phone with Gallant, and I've got my script in front of me. You had to figure, and the script was a whole process on its own as well.
A lot of effort went into creating a format for the script as well. So we have
what do you feel about it though?
I think the script's pretty good. We at first didn't know how does one even like start making a podcast. That's what we thought. We were like, how do we create a format that we can like that seems consistent, but we can morph every week. So we came upon this idea. We have like the lockdown recap, which is what we call it in our document, and that's where we talk about the music recap, series recap. You can find it in every single episode of the podcast. We talk about that. Then we get to like a uni update, which is basically we talk about our week at school, and that's almost that's like a consistent in every episode. And then every couple of episodes we'll have an economy section where we call up Michael de Brocklio, and he gives us a topic or two. And then we get to what we call our quote unquote main topic, which changes every week. So this week it's the podcast. So that's our format at the moment, you know. And it seems to be working. We're gonna change it though. Every 10 episodes, we said. So we'll see what happens.
That's the plan.
We hope.
The thing is though, it's taken us I think it took us till about episode 5 to get this process right. And even just to get the sound quality right. Because when you don't have those professional grade podcast microphones that like the ASMR people use, you get a lot of noise, and we had to figure out how to get rid of that. And sometimes we have an echo because Gallant is too loud or I'm too loud. And so those have been the issues we've had to deal with. But we find time to do this. It's been really fun. We find time.
It's been fun to figure it out.
And we don't post consistently because, like I said, we've got online learning, and that has to take priority, preference.
Yeah.
Um, and editing is not something that you can do in a few minutes. It can take up to about an hour
I
or
think that's the
more.
biggest misconception. I think that's the biggest
Yeah,
misconception. It's editing in anything like film or music or podcast. Everyone thinks, oh, you just slapped it together and then it's done. Like it takes like 30 minutes and then you're done. No, I mean editing a podcast is definitely the quickest thing you can do compared to
yeah,
editing music or editing like
video, film.
video. Like yeah, so with the podcast, what you're mainly looking for is to find the parts where you need to like bleep out the swearing, bleep that out, and then you have to listen to the whole thing, just to find any mistakes. So I mean, most of all, that takes like about an hour, hour and a half. But that's finding the time to do it. And usually, what happens is every week we take turns. So this week is my turn. You're currently watching something I edited. Um, Next week will be Hector's turn, and so on and so forth. That's how we split it amongst ourselves.
Yeah, and I've taken it upon myself to do the sort of noise reduction and combining and compressing process, and then Gallant uh, does the editing when it's his turn, and he's doing the video for this one. Like I said, this is my notepad, and on it I write timestamps for whenever I swear. It's almost always me. I think Gallant's sworn like once in the last 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Um, it's almost always me who swears, and
Yeah.
but for me to filter that out, it wouldn't be authentic. Gallant is always telling me I'm too profane.
It's
But
bad for the edit because it just gives you more work. But I
it's not
think
that bad. Um,
it's okay. But that's one of the things you learn to deal with.
yeah,
And with regards to what's the future of the podcast, I don't know. I was thinking about this when I was working out today, and I was like, we the reason we started this podcast, like really started this podcast, was because we were both sort of creatively starved. In high school, we were part of drama society. We started the video society, TBH. Find us on YouTube. Um,
it's
uh,
dead now, I believe,
it's dead now, but find some of our videos on YouTube, TBH Network.
and you can see us in high
And you can
school
see
because we are
us,
in some of the videos.
young versions of us,
Should
a little
we
bit
might link? We
chunkier.
might link it. We might link.
I think I'll link it up somewhere here. But yeah, so these movies, we were creatively starved in university because suddenly we didn't have these outlets, and we just felt like, oh my word, we're not creating anything, or putting anything out there in the world that means something to us. But we need to do something low grade that could be done every week with minimal effort, and try and hit as many birds with one stone. So we wanted to socialize, we wanted to be creative and put our love for editing audio and video and for creating stuff and talking and having conversation and learning. And I think that's what we're creating here. I think that's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah,
And you're supposed to like
and
just moan about life.
yes, and I think so long as we have the relationship that we have, and so long as we can find some time during the week to make this, it'll probably go on for quite a while, longer than what we were planning.
To be honest,
Um,
I'm surprised we made it to 10 episodes, like
yeah,
consistently.
yeah. Um, when this lockdown ends, I'm not sure if we'll have time, but I really hope we do. What I realized today is that when I took out my tripod and I was playing around with my phone's video camera again, is that I get so much joy making content, and I've spent the last few years trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And when I thought about the idea of making content, I actually got like I felt like I found my passion. Random,
Yeah.
random thing that happened today.
Oh, that's
So
brilliant.
um, I think that content creation is something that I need to happen very
Yeah,
frequently.
I need to. I mean, I study all the time and I love the things I do. And learning and my career path, but having a creative outlet is great. I mean, you just watch the video where I could take the little bit of guitar jamming I do and use it creatively. While putting in my love for film and editing It's just having fun with it, and it's like, it's not the greatest content in the world. I'm not gonna lie. It's not gonna win an Oscar. It's not gonna change the world as per se, but it makes me feel better, and I think it makes
Yeah,
us feel better. And I think the goal in life is to hopefully find other people like yourselves that watching this who also enjoy it, and can like build upon it and feel welcomed in the community that we're creating. Um,
I think
which
we've
is
got
just about being yourself.
the maximum number of listens that we get so far is about 50.
Yeah.
Which, and I've said this to some people, and some people are shocked that, like, wow, a whole 50 people. And some people are like, oh, decent. And I don't care whether we get 10 or a million. I enjoy making it, and that's all that matters to me, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And
I think the minute it becomes a situation of like, Hector, we need to make this stuff because the millions of people are watching and it's all this pressure. I think then there's no fun. Like, if I'm not having fun while making it, then what's the point? Why am I
yeah,
going to devote so much of my time to making this if it's
and
not
like I
going to be
said
fun?
in the beginning, somebody asked me if we make any money for doing this. We don't. We don't make a cent. In fact, I think it's taking our time, which is money, as they say, and it's
Yeah.
taking our electricity and our internet connection, which costs money. It's costing us to do this.
Yeah.
We're not making anything on it at all. And maybe
Hopefully
someday
one day we will.
we'll have sponsorships where we can get a little bit of income. Um, but right now we're not making anything. You don't hear any ads. Unless you're watching this on YouTube, maybe there was an ad. Um, and yeah, we're not making any money, and that's one of the reasons why we're thinking about maybe going to video.
Yeah.
Is because you can get a bit of AdSense. Wink. Um, it feels
But
great to be
yeah,
back in the editing room, though, don't you think?
I think one of the things about the future of this podcast is that we were kind of hoping lockdown would have ended a while ago, and that we could just get weekly stories from our lives,
Yeah.
of meeting people and living a life. Um,
Maybe even getting
but
to a point where we don't have to do this over FaceTime.
yeah, maybe we do like being able to do it in person, and which would save so much time with editing. But in any
On
case,
that couch, wherever it is.
yeah. but now we have to sort of come up with new content every week, which is more difficult than where the ideal goal is we live our lives. And then on a Friday we come together and we're like, yo, dude, this mad wild thing happened on campus like this week. Here's the
Yeah.
story, and that's it's meant to be like a cash up session that other people get to listen in on and learn
And
about.
that wouldn't actually change our routine, because when we were at campus, we would more or less get together every Friday anyway.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, and it's great to talk. Gotta write that
Mm,
down. Gallant's gonna shout at me.
thank
Um,
you.
and
There's in noting down the
see,
sweating.
I have to write it down. And
But yeah, and
it's nice to have like a structured entity that we can devote our time to, like a proper hobby, something that actually consumes our
yeah,
time other than our careers.
something that you can, like when people ask, oh, what do you do with your time? Like we can actually say, okay, we create a podcast, but it's not just an audio podcast, it's a video podcast that has
Yeah,
the occasional skit in it. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I
that's
see
really,
excitement as we come up with some creative genii in the future.
yeah.
Prepare for cringe.
And like, it's nice to have something that we control ourselves and we're just having fun with it.
Yeah,
That's brilliant. And oh, and another thing about the future of this podcast, it's gonna be collaborative. Pretty soon we're gonna have guests on. We're gonna have topics where we're
hopefully.
gonna get our friends to come on
Yeah.
and talk to us
And you can meet
and
some of
create a
the
bigger community.
faces behind some of the
You give
stories
me
we've
some of the
told.
faces of the stories that I have and Hector
And
has.
maybe in the future we can have some celebrity guests, but that's probably way in the future if we actually gain some traction.
Yeah,
Um, but it's been a lot of fun making this. I look forward to it. I like when I listen back to it, I don't think, oh, that's hilarious, but I know that when I made it, I laughed genuinely because when we talk, what's it called?
Yeah.
Um, it's actually entertaining for me, so I enjoy making it thoroughly. And
Yeah.
it's also great to get behind that pro editing software and have something to do other than typing out an academic paper.
Yeah, and it's cathartic, and it helps the thinking process. It's like, I know a lot of people, myself included, we write out the weird thoughts we have in the middle of the night, and work through things. But something like a podcast is nice because now I can bring all these thoughts that I've been having on my mind. I can bring them to the podcast, and we can talk it out, and it helps me think. It helps me figure out where I stand in the world and how I feel on certain topics.
Yeah,
Which is great. That's why we should all listen to podcasts, um, and
for sure.
consume content in that medium because it really does help with your thinking. And everyone, I think, if you don't know what you want to do, make a podcast. Call up your friends. Make a podcast. It's really not that difficult. Anchor is a great application that you can use to make
Yes,
podcasts
it's
with.
one of the things you can use.
It's like
Um,
3 taps and then you're going. You know. So
it's
I
brilliant.
think there's an excuse for not making content these days.
Yeah, and somebody will find it entertaining, and you'll make someone's day, and it's really fun to make.
Exactly.
Um, and that's about it for this episode. Anything you want to add?
Nope. But I do want to say, please go follow us on Instagram. That's at 2Mat Stacking Conversation. We're gonna post behind the scenes there. We're gonna post some of the skits we make, little snippets of the videos, and of the podcast there. So go check it out. Go check
We'll
out our
put
last
all the
podcast.
links in the description
Put
for
all the links in all the
Spotify and Apple
descriptions.
Podcast,
YouTube, everything.
Instagram,
Um,
etc.
go check go check out our last podcast. That's episode 9 is on rejection and learning how to deal with it. And all beautiful things associated with it. We give some life stories about how we've been rejected in life, relationship and otherwise, schooling, etc. Hector, want to tell them about our qualifications?
So it's time where I tell you what qualifies us to talk about the things we talk about. We have degrees in stick it up your ass. And please like, subscribe, comment, turn on those bell notifications. Back to that. We are back at it, Gallant. Tell your friends about this grade A bullshit, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.
See you, people.